After my daughter won $30 million, I was kicked out. What happened next will leave you HEARTWARMED. Charlie had always been the dependable mechanic in his small Midwestern town, the man you could count on for a good fix and an even better chat. His garage sat at the end of Maple Street, a patchwork of oil stains and laughter. For years, it was a sanctuary where neighbors gathered for repairs, and for the newest gossip that twisted through town like those clouds before a summer storm. But after his daughter Lily scratched her name on a $30 million lottery ticket, things spiraled out of control. His heart raced as he watched the headlines flash across news screens: "Local girl wins big." The town that used to surround him with warmth now buzzed solely for Lily, the golden girl draped in opulence, drowning him in the wake of her newfound fame. Once, they worked alongside each other on weekend projects, her small hands learning the trade. Now, she was swept into a whirlwind of glitzy luncheons and brand new friends who popped up the way weeds do in spring, fast and unexpected. "Hey, Dad, I can't do dinner tonight. I'm going to a charity gala," she'd say, her eyes sparkling with excitement. And Charlie's heart would sink. He missed the evenings filled with grease and simple joys. He remembered when she'd eagerly help, learning to value hard work, standing on a stool to reach the toolbox. Those lessons now felt lost in a pastel-colored world of champagne wishes and glittering dreams. As weeks passed, Lily began to change. At first, the attention felt like a gift, but soon, Charlie started sensing an invisible wall rising between them, an abyss fueled by wealth and insincerity. Those friends who once greeted him with smiles turned their backs when he entered the room. Each day, he'd wake up with grease-stained hands but a heavy heart. Was this the American dream he worked so hard to build? Hard work and values now overshadowed by a lottery ticket? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. And then it happened. A scandal broke when rumors of mismanaging her finances surfaced, revealing just how shallow those friendships were. Suddenly, they dwindled like autumn leaves. Charlie heard the whispers in town: she won all that money, but look at her now. It was as if everyone believed the glitter had overshadowed the values he had instilled in her. Charlie stood outside her house one evening, his chest tight, torn between anger and love. As he gazed at the flickering porch light, uncertainty enveloped him. Should he reach out? His heart beat wildly. Would she listen? Amid the chaos, he felt a flicker of hope. Maybe they could rebuild what had been lost. Here they stood, father and daughter, separated by fame's illusion. As Lily faced the music of her choices, both would have to confront what really mattered. In that moment, would they choose family and the values worth holding on to? Their story hung in the balance, pulsing with possibility yet shrouded in questions. Charlie took a deep breath, steadying himself before stepping up to the door. The air was thick with a mix of anticipation and anxiety. He knocked lightly, his heart echoing in his chest like a drum. Moments later, the door creaked open, revealing Lily with a hesitant smile. There was a flicker of recognition in her eyes, but it was drowned out by uncertainty. "Dad," she said softly, stepping aside to let him in. Charlie hesitated, the warmth of the house contrasting starkly with his cool demeanor. He stepped inside, taking in the extravagant decor that now filled the space. It was like entering a different world, one that felt foreign and strangely uninviting. They stood in the living room awkwardly, the silence stretching uncomfortably. Charlie could hardly recognize his daughter, the carefree girl he knew seemed buried under layers of glamour and expectation. "How have you been?" she finally asked, her voice laced with an innocence that tugged at his heart. "I've been good, just working fixing cars like always," he replied, forcing a smile. It felt like an understatement as he carefully eyed her. Did she even remember the smell of motor oil that clung to their hands, the laughter shared over oily rags and old jokes? "I'm glad," she said, her gaze drifting away. "Things here have been a bit hectic." Charlie nodded, feeling the weight of those words. "Hectic can mean a lot of things, Lily. Are you all right?" At that, a shadow flickered across her face. For a moment, vulnerability peeked through her bravado. "I thought I could handle it all. But sometimes the glamour feels heavy, Dad." His heart ached for her. "It's okay to feel that way," he said gently. "It's a big change. You've been thrown into a world that doesn't seem to care much about who you really are." Lily's eyes met his. "And I thought I was helping people with my money. But it feels like no one really wants to know me. They just want what I can give. Remember when we helped fix old Ms. Jennings's car?" Charlie asked, a fond smile breaking through. "She didn't care about what you could do for her. She just liked talking with you." A spark ignited in Lily's eyes, a small remnant of the girl he'd loved so deeply. "I remember," she whispered, her voice barely above a murmur. Days turned into weeks, and the distance between them lessened, just a little. They began to share meals again, albeit in the extravagant dining room filled with expensive china. Charlie would tell her stories about the garage, about his customers, and the simple joys of life. But the ghosts of her choices lingered, and eventually, Lily faced a breaking point. The latest headlines about her financial decisions painted her in a harsh light, and friends she thought were allies turned their backs when she needed them most. One rainy afternoon, as they sat together, she broke down, tears streaming down her face. "I've lost everything, Dad. I thought money would solve my problems, but it just created new ones." Charlie reached for her hand, holding it tightly. "It's never too late to start over, sweetheart. What matters is who you are inside. You still have me." In that moment, she looked into his eyes and saw the love that was unwavering, the bond they once had. But as the storm raged outside, a knock at the door interrupted them. Who could it be, Charlie wondered. Would this news usher in further troubles, or was it a chance for Lily to confront her past? The tension crackled in the air, leaving both father and daughter at a crossroads, wondering if the answers they sought lay just beyond the door. Charlie exchanged a quick glance with Lily, his heart racing. The knock echoed again, louder this time, sending a ripple of unease through them both. "Should we answer?" Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yeah. We can't ignore it," Charlie replied, keeping his tone steady. He walked toward the door, acutely aware of the weight of their shared struggle in the air. He opened it cautiously, revealing a figure standing drenched from the relentless rain. It was someone he recognized, a familiar face from the town. "Simon? What are you doing here?" Charlie asked, surprised. "Dad, it's Lexi," Simon said, his voice shaking slightly. "She heard about everything what happened with Lily and wanted to come see her." As Simon stepped aside, Lexi emerged, her face pale but determined. The warmth in her smile might have softened Charlie's heart, but then he noticed the worry in her eyes. "I hope it's okay that I came," she said, dripping with rainwater. "I couldn't just sit back after hearing the news." Lily hesitated, her eyes darting between her father and Lexi. I didn't expect to see you," she stammered, biting her lip. "Can we talk?" Lexi said, the urgency in her voice increasing. "I know things are really rough right now, and you must be feeling so alone." Lily stepped back, allowing them into the living room. Charlie felt the tension shift, an alertness surrounding them. They settled onto the plush couches, but the air felt dense, charged with unsaid words and emotions. "I saw the articles, Lily," Lexi continued, her expression earnest. "I saw how people you trusted turned their backs on you. I thought I was helping," Lily said, her voice trembling. "But it just turned ugly. I know that feeling, Lexi said softly. People get consumed by the spotlight. But you don't have to do this alone. What do you mean? Lily asked, her brow furrowing. Let us rebuild it together, Lexi offered, her tone earnest. You can't let those headlines define you. Come back with me. Let us do something good. We can start a project, something that matters. Not for the cameras, but for real change. Charlie felt the spark of hope flicker between them, igniting something deep within him. He leaned in, sensing the possibility. Lily, maybe this is what you need. To find your purpose again. But it won't erase what happened. Lily's voice was small, the weight of her past wrapping around her. No, it won't, Lexi admitted. But it can empower you to create a better future. You can be more than headlines or money. Charlie watched his daughter's expression shift, the crux of her decision looming over her. Was it a risk, to open up again? To step beyond the pain and into the possibility of healing? Maybe we could try, Lily finally replied, a hesitant determination forming in her gaze. But I can't do it alone. Lexi reached out, taking her hand. It was a gesture filled with warmth, a bond forged through shared understanding. You won't be alone. We'll figure this out together. In that moment, a flicker of hope burst through the clouds. But outside, the storm showed no signs of letting up. As they sat in the comforting glow of the living room, Charlie couldn't shake the feeling that the door might not just lead to a new beginning, it could also lead them into deeper challenges awaiting them. Suddenly, another knock echoed through the house. Charlie's heart dropped. As he exchanged glances with Lily and Lexi, dread crept back in. Who else was at the door now? What more awaited them in this tumultuous journey ahead? Charlie's heart pounded as he exchanged worried glances with Lily and Lexi. The heavy knock came again, like a warning bell signaling more trouble. Who is it? He called out, his voice steadier than he felt. Just a minute. Came a muffled reply from the other side. Lily's knuckles whitened against the couch armrest. Do we have to see who it is? She asked, anxiety creeping back into her voice. I think we should, Simon piped in, standing at the edge of the living room, body tense. It could be someone who wants to cause more trouble. Charlie took a deep breath, feeling the weight of their shared uncertainty. Okay, I'll check. He moved toward the door, each step heavy as he considered the possibilities lurking outside. As he pulled the door open, he was met with a familiar figure, someone he never expected to see again. Mark? Charlie blinked, disbelief clouding his thoughts. Mark was an old friend, a former colleague who had backed Charlie during tough times in the past. But after the fallout with Lily, their friendship had been strained to breaking. Hey, Charlie, Mark said, soaked to the bone and holding a dripping raincoat over one shoulder. I just wanted to see how you were all doing. Why now? Charlie retorted, bitterness bubbling inside him. After everything? Mark raised his hands, as if trying to ward off Charlie's words. I know I haven't been here. It's just, he hesitated, glancing back at the rain pouring down outside. I heard what happened, and I felt awful. I should have reached out sooner. Behind Charlie, he could feel Lily's sharp intake of breath. She was caught in the middle, unsure whether to stay quiet or assert herself. Dad, it's fine, she said softly, her eyes flickering between the two men. Maybe he really is here to help. Mark stepped inside, shaking off water like a dog. I want to help, he insisted. I came to see if you guys need anything. I know things have been rough, but there's more to life than what the papers are saying. Charlie held on to his anger, the pain from their past too raw to let go just yet. Maybe you should have thought about that before. You were quick to turn away from us when we needed you. Mark flinched, but then nodded. You're right. I messed up. I should have known better. Lily interrupted before the tension could escalate. Something needs to change, she asserted, her voice calm yet firm. I don't want to go back to how things were. I want to move forward. Mark's eyes softened. Then let me help, he said. I can reach out to my contacts. There are ways we can turn this around. We can change the narrative. The room fell uncomfortably silent. Charlie looked at his daughter, her face a mixture of hope and hesitation, then to Lexi, who still held Lily's hand with a reassuring grip. I'll think about it, Lily replied, her voice steady, but her uncertainty hung thick in the air. But it won't just be about fixing things for the cameras. It has to be real. Agreed, Mark replied, his tone earnest. I want to be part of it, whatever it looks like going forward. Charlie was slowly coming to the realization that they might just need this unexpected alliance, even if it felt risky. With everyone's future intertwined, the stakes felt high. Just then, the tension shattered like glass when the doorbell rang again, interrupting their conversation. This time, Charlie's gut twisted with dread. What were they about to face now? Who is it this time? He muttered, adrenaline coursing through him as they braced for another surprise. Would it be another old friend, or perhaps someone with grievances yet to be voiced? Lily looked at him, her eyes wide with anticipation. What if it's someone from the past, someone who wants answers? In that moment, Charlie wasn't sure if he was ready. But as they gathered together, all of them, he felt a flicker of hope igniting anew. They were on the brink of something. Whatever was about to happen next might just redefine their paths forever. The doorbell rang again, a sharp sound that sliced through the thick tension in the room. Charlie hesitated, fingers curling around the doorknob as he shared a glance with Mark. The unspoken question hung in the air, could they really afford another surprise today? Should I get it? Lexi asked, stepping forward, her expression a mix of determination and concern. Charlie nodded, swallowing hard. Let us just see who it is. As Lexi opened the door, a gust of wind burst in, carrying the smell of rain-soaked earth. There stood an older woman, her face lined with worry but softened by a hopeful smile. Charlie's heart sank when he recognized her. Mrs. Henderson? Charlie exclaimed, confusion settling in. Charlie, dear. She called out, her eyes darting between all of them. I've been looking for you. What do you mean? Charlie replied sharply, trying to hide the disbelief that bubbled inside him. I heard about Lily's win and the media frenzy surrounding it, she said, her voice warm yet urgent. I came to talk to you all about the community and what it could mean going forward. Lily stepped forward, her brow furrowed. What do you mean, Mrs. Henderson? We're all scared, Lily, she answered, her gaze shifting to the living room filled with old photos and memories. This town has always supported each other, but now everyone is split. Some believe the money will fix everything, while others, well, they feel overshadowed, forgotten. Mark shifted uncomfortably, feeling the weight of the moment. That's a sentiment many of us know well, he replied quietly, looking thoughtful. Lily's win should bring the community together, not tear it apart. Mrs. Henderson nodded vigorously. Exactly. I think we can create something out of this, something really good. It won't be easy, but we need all hands on deck. Charlie's chin tilted as he absorbed the older woman's words. There was a flicker of something in his chest. Was it hope? We? He echoed, a question trailing behind his utterance. How do you see this working? Community outreach, she suggested, her voice filling the room with newfound energy. Fundraising initiatives, local events to gather support using the platform Lily has created. If we don't stand together now, we risk everything we've built. Lily, Charlie said, glancing at his daughter, uncertainty warring against rising hope. What do you think about this? Lily's expression was thoughtful, her mind racing through possibilities. I'd love to help. But we need to make sure everyone feels included. It can't just be about the money, it should uplift everyone involved. Mark smiled, the first genuine warmth Charlie had seen from him since his arrival. Sounds like a plan. We can work together to make sure it's done right. A brief silence followed, where Charlie let the gravity of the moment sink in. This wasn't just another plan to fix things. It was a chance to heal, to rebuild connections that had been broken. Before he could voice his agreement, Lexi's phone buzzed on the coffee table, cutting through their thoughts. She grabbed it and frowned as she read. "What's wrong?" Lily asked, a note of concern creeping back into her voice. "It's a news alert," Lexi replied, her voice trembling. "Someone's been digging into our pasts. They're saying things that could shake this whole community's foundation." Charlie felt his stomach twist. "What did they find?" Lexi's face paled. "Just remember, we're all in this together. But it's about to get a lot messier." Charlie's heart raced as whispers of buried secrets surfaced at the worst possible moment. Lily and Lexi exchanged anxious glances, the room becoming unbearably tense once more. They were at the edge of something huge. Was it a chance for unity or the beginning of a deeper divide? "Whatever it is, we face it together," Mark said, his voice steady. "That's how real change happens." Charlie felt the flickering hope dim slightly, replaced by rising dread. The past had a way of coming back, and as they all stood there, he realized their fight for the future would be tougher than he'd ever imagined. Would they be strong enough to push through the storm ahead, or would the shadows of their past tear them apart once more? The air in the room shifted, thickening with tension as a heavy silence followed Lexi's grim announcement. Charlie rubbed his temples, trying to ward off the looming headache of uncertainty. He could see the worry etched on Lily's face as she glanced back at him, her youthful spirit now weighed down by the burden of expectations. "What sort of things?" he pushed, desperate for answers, for clarity. His voice came out steadier than he felt. Lexi swallowed hard, her fingers tapping nervously against the phone. "It's a blog post. It says it has exclusive details about our family. Allegations, things from the past that should probably stay there." Mrs. Henderson took a step closer, her expression a mix of concern and empathy. "We can't let those rumors stand unchallenged. If the community starts believing them, it'll tear everyone apart. Maybe they're just looking for attention we can't give in. If we come together, we can defuse any rumors," Mark chimed in, his optimism a beacon against Charlie's rising dread. "Let's be proactive. We need to address whatever is said before it spirals out of control." Lily pondered out loud, her voice still small but growing stronger. "What if we hold a community meeting? A chance for everyone to voice their opinions and clarify the truth. It could also show that we aren't afraid to confront the past if it means salvaging our future. Yeah, and we can use it to highlight the good our family wants to do." Charlie felt a flicker of determination as his daughter's words fed into his own need for redemption. Perhaps the fire of this crisis could ignite something constructive. "We can reach out to everyone. Neighbors, friends, even skeptics. Make sure everyone knows our plans." Mrs. Henderson smiled appreciatively, her eyes softening. "That's a great idea. A united front will show the community there's no need for fear and we can all work together to focus on what matters." Charlie's heart lightened a degree. This was starting to feel like a plan, one that might just be able to counter the darkness creeping from the shadows of their pasts. Suddenly, a voice interrupted, sharp and anxious. "Don't you think that would only draw more attention?" Lexi retorted, her fear creeping back in. "What if the rumors are true? What if they find out something we've been hiding?" The room collectively held its breath. Charlie turned to Lexi, catching the panic in her eyes. "What do you mean?" She hesitated, biting her lip. "We all have things we wish we could bury. Things that could hurt us now, just when we're trying to heal." A chill gripped Charlie's heart. He had never thought of their situation that way before. What if their past held more than the family secrets he had buried? What if it was more complicated than just them? A flicker of pain crossed Lily's face. What is going on, Dad? What are you not telling me? The silence that followed was heavy, saturated with unspoken truths. Charlie felt the weight of unresolved conflicts press down on him, a stark reminder that there was more to their story than the surface. He opened his mouth, ready to shield his daughter from fear, to assure her that they would be okay. But the words caught, swirling inside him like an impending storm. Before he could make a sound, another buzz from the phone broke the tension again. Lexi glanced down, then gasped softly. "Guys, you need to see this." The revelation of her screen loomed, promising to either open the floodgates to truth or drown them in uncertainty. Charlie felt the dread settle back in as he moved closer, not sure if he was ready for what lay ahead. What dark shadows were about to emerge, and how would they all face them together this time? This was only the beginning, and the answers could change everything. Lexi held her phone out, her shaky hands betraying the calm expression she tried to wear. Charlie leaned in, heart racing as he awaited the details that could unearth everything they feared. Reflection of a bright screen illuminated her face, making her look more vulnerable than ever. "Just read it," she urged, eyes darting nervously between Charlie and the others. The headline struck like a lightning bolt, "Local Family's Dark Secret: What They Don't Want You to Know." Charlie's stomach twisted, a sense of inevitability overcoming him as he skimmed through the text. Each word carved deeper into his chest, igniting memories he thought were long buried. The article was relentless, detailing sordid tales of family conflicts, feuds, and missteps from years ago. It spoke of legal disputes, whispers of betrayal, and how their community had fractured under the weight of doubt. Charlie's heart sank as he read, but what chilled him the most was a note at the end: "The Henderson family is set to face their demons. Will they rise up or will they fall?" "That's it," Lexi said quietly. "They're calling us out. This is not just rumors, it's a challenge." Mrs. Henderson stepped back, her hands clasped in front of her, as if she needed to physically hold herself together. "This is what I was afraid of. The past is haunting us again. How do we confront this without letting them tear us apart?" Charlie looked at Lily, who was now frowning, her youthful face twisted in confusion. "Why would someone do this? To hurt us?" Lexi shrugged, tears brimming in her eyes. "Maybe they think we deserve it. Maybe we shouldn't have let the past sleep." "No!" Charlie exclaimed, his voice surprising even himself. "We do deserve a chance. We all do. The past doesn't get to define the future. If we let fear dictate our actions, we'll just give them what they want: a reason to spread more lies." He took a deep breath, the weight of the room pressing on him like it was closing in. "We can use this. We will hold that meeting. We'll show the community how strong we are together." Mark, ever the optimistic light, nodded vigorously. "Yes. We'll tell them the truth. We'll clear the air not just about the bad, but about the good we want to do. What we can do." "But what if they don't believe us?" Lily asked, her voice shrinking once again. "What if they only see us for our failures? Then we'll show them how much we've changed. How much we've grown," Charlie answered, conviction growing with each word. "It's time to confront our shadows. We have to face them together." The room fell silent, each cousin absorbing the weight of his words. Slowly, Lexi nodded, her fear being replaced with a flicker of hope. Mrs. Henderson finally broke the silence, her voice wavering but firm. "Then it's settled. We'll meet tomorrow, and we'll gather strength from each other. We have to believe in our family." They all looked at each other. In that moment, a glimmer of determination shimmered in the air. Yes, they had mistakes, but they were here to confront them, together. As they began discussing logistics and who to invite, Charlie felt his phone buzz again. This time it was a text from an unknown number: "I know the truth about your family. Let us talk. It can save you." The knot in his stomach tightened anew. Charlie glanced at Lexi and Lily, who seemed to sense the sudden shift in his demeanor. It was one thing to confront the past, but another to know that someone else was pulling strings behind the scenes. "What did it say?" Lexi asked, anxiety creeping back into her voice. Charlie hesitated, weighing the choice of sharing the unsettling message against protecting his family. Perhaps it was time to be completely open. His decision laid heavy on his heart as he struggled with the complex territory ahead. Would this lead them to answers or just deeper troubles? "Just someone wanting to talk," he finally replied, bracing himself for what might come next. But deep down, he knew that confronting the shadows was just the beginning. The next morning dawned hazy and uncertain, much like the feeling in Charlie's chest as he gathered with his family in the spacious living room. Sunlight struggled to push through the curtains, creating a mood that mirrored their emotions, hope tinged with dread. Mrs. Henderson busied herself with coffee and muffins but paused momentarily to assess her children. "Remember, we're in this together," she encouraged, her voice soft yet steady. Charlie felt a swell of gratitude for her strength, even as the message from the unknown number echoed in the back of his mind. They had invited neighbors, friends, and community members, preparing to present not only their side of the story but also their plans for moving forward. Charlie caught Lexi nervously biting her nails and Mark endlessly pacing in the crescent of the living room. "Do we really think they'll listen to us?" Lexi's timid voice broke through the air thick with unspoken anxieties. Charlie stepped closer, reassuring her with a gentle squeeze on her shoulder. "They won't listen if we're not honest. We have to share how we've changed, how we're ready to embrace the future." Each word propelled him, and he could feel a rejuvenation building within him. As the clock approached 2, the tension rose. Mrs. Henderson straightened her back, fixing her blouse, a warrior preparing for battle. "All right, everyone. Take a deep breath." She looked around, meeting each cousin's gaze, then turned toward the door. "Let us show them who we are. Let us show them that we're more than just our past." When the first visitors arrived, a hush fell over the room. Charlie could see curious faces among the familiar. They wore expressions of apprehension mixed with skepticism, eyes darting as they exchanged silent conversations. He felt his heart pound louder, a tribal drum urging him to take action. "Thank you for coming," Charlie began, trying to project confidence. He glanced at his family, drawing from their resilience. "Today, we want to tell you our story, the good, the bad, everything." He started narrating a brief history of their family, weaving in moments of pride and their growth in the aftermath of the painful past. Each revelation felt like a small incision, exposing vulnerability but also healing. As they shared anecdotes, faces began to soften. The sharp angles of doubt became rounded, and he could see some were leaning in, eager to listen. Mark chimed in about their community initiatives, how they hoped to make amends and act as a support system rather than a family sullied by old stories. Then, just as momentum began to build, Charlie's phone buzzed again. This time, it vibrated violently in his pocket, a reminder of that unsettling message. His heart knocked in his chest. "Excuse me," he muttered, stepping away from the group. He glanced at the screen, revealing another text from the unknown number. "You don't want to know the lengths I've gone to protect you. Meet me at the old park at 5. He felt a rush of conflicting emotions, anger, fear, curiosity. Who was this person? What did they want from him? Could they shatter everything he had just begun to rebuild? Returning to the gathering, he noticed Lexi looking at him with concern. "Are you okay?" she whispered, trying not to draw attention. "Yeah, just a lot on my mind," Charlie replied, but he could feel the weight of the secret anchoring him down. As the meeting continued, nods of understanding and support began to flow among attendees, but Charlie's mind lingered on that ominous message, the call to meet a stranger at the park. The walls felt closer, yet outside, freedom beckoned him. Could this outsider hold the key to their past? And would it ruin the fragile trust they were weaving with their community? A voice rang out, "So, what's next for the Hendersons?" Asking the question, he felt the collective eyes resting upon him, waiting expectantly. Charlie hesitated, the pressure twisting within him like a coiled spring. In that instant, he realized this moment was pivotal, this choice could shape their future. "Everything is about to change," he finally said, uncertainty mingling with hope. And as the group clapped and shared ideas, the message loomed in the back of his mind, a dark cloud eclipsing his sunlight. Would he dare confront it, or put his family first by burying the past once and for all? As the warmth of support wrapped around him, he faced a reality teetering on a precipice, shown between his family's strength and the shadow of a new revelation. Charlie could feel the weight of the room pressing in on him, every gaze a reminder of the fragile ground they were standing on. He fought to maintain the smile, the hopeful mask he wore for the sake of his family and their community. But in his heart, dread bubbled. "Everything is about to change" felt like a ticking clock, echoing ominously through the corners of his mind. As the meeting continued, he scanned the faces of the people gathered. A few neighbors nodded, some even murmured words of encouragement. The atmosphere lifted just slightly, infusing the space with a sense of potential. Yet, the earlier buzz of understanding was dimmed by the insistent pulse of his phone. 5 o'clock, he whispered to himself, the words tasting bitter. Lexi caught his eye again, her worry reflecting back at him. He tried to shake off the unease, reminding himself of their family's journey, how they had closed chapters of past darkness, opening new ones filled with light and growth. But how could he sell this story of redemption when shadows still loomed large? "Charlie. You okay?" Mark's voice cut through his thoughts, pulling him back to the present. "Yeah, just lost in thought," he replied, forcing away the gnawing anxiety. Then Mrs. Henderson spoke again, her voice warm. "Let us discuss what's next for the Hendersons. What do we want to do to support our community more actively?" It was an invitation, a call to arms, and Charlie could feel his nerves begin to shift. He took a deep breath and raised his hand for attention. "I think we need to organize a community cleanup day, something that unites us." The suggestion hung in the air. Not just for us, but to show that we're committed to being part of this community again. A chance to create something positive together. The idea sparked a few smiles, and he felt a flicker of hope rising. "Great idea. We'll make it big," Lexi said, her fingers now resting easily at her sides, the worry in her eyes replaced by a thin line of excitement. "Well, what about a fundraiser for local charities, too?" Mark added, catching the energy. "We can get local businesses involved, everyone loves a good cause." Gradually, conversations swirled around him. Ideas ignited like fireworks, each one more vibrant than the last. There was excitement growing, a joint effort to foster connection and cooperation. For a moment, he let himself bask in the warm embrace of community, where everyone felt like family. But as laughter and planning filled the room, the buzz of his phone vibrated against his leg once more. There it was, that stubborn text gnawing at his insides. He stole another glance at the screen, the words daring him to choose, "You have no idea what I've protected you from. This matters." His stomach churned. Did he dare walk away from this moment, from the unfolding path of hope? Or was it worth risking everything to find out what this stranger knew? The clock in the kitchen ticked closer to 5, and with every passing moment, his heart raced. What if this meeting at the park held answers that could either heal them or rip them apart? Beneath the laughter and chatter, a dark thrill pulsed through him. He felt the urgency of a decision tugging at his insides. Staring into the warmth of his family and friends, hope started to twist with fear and uncertainty. Could he trust his instincts, or would this meeting shake the foundation of everything they had rebuilt? As the meeting wound down, Mrs. Henderson gathered her kids in a huddle. "We're stronger together," she reminded them, dispelling the last bits of Charlie's hesitation. But in the depths of his heart, where shadows loomed thick, another truth stirred: he might have to face the unknown alone soon. An unsettling blend of anticipation and dread washed over him. Would he really let his family go on without knowing what lay in the shadows? The answer felt precarious, teetering on the edge. Time to make a choice, but what would he decide? As the meeting wound down, Charlie felt a strange sense of clarity seep into his veins. He exchanged glances with his family, who were all smiling and filled with a renewed sense of purpose. It was evident that they were ready to embrace their future, together. But the weight of the unknown still loomed over him, like a shadow he couldn't shake off. "Hey, I'll be right back," he muttered to no one in particular, backing away from the gathering. He felt Lexi's concerned gaze on him but pushed through the crowd, determined to get some air. With every step toward the door, the night sky continuously darkening, it seemed to murmur hidden truths that echoed Charlie's own hesitations. Standing outside, he took a deep breath. The cool air filled his lungs as he looked up at the sky, cloudless, stars flickering like dreams waiting to be realized. "What do I do?" he asked the universe, voice barely above a whisper. He pulled out his phone and stared at the ominous message again, hands shaking slightly. He wanted to tell his family, seek their support, but what would that do? Would it trigger fear that might unravel the fragile threads they were weaving? Or would they rally together and face whatever secrets awaited them? His heart raced, echoing the battle of fear and courage nestling deep inside him. What could this unknown person want? Part of him was terrified that discovery would only bring chaos. But the other part, the part that believed fiercely in family, honesty, and confronting their past, felt an urgent pull forward. It happened then, clarity struck him like a bolt of lightning. He realized he wouldn't truly be facing those shadows alone. His family had already stood by him through thick and thin. They faced their past collectively, the lies, the mistakes, and they still embraced hope. With newfound conviction, he dove into the decision. "I'm doing this," he decided. "For them." He rushed back inside, where laughter and excitement filled the room. The sight of Lily, her eyes bright with optimism, reminded him why it was all worth it. "Hey, everyone!" he called, catching their attention. "What's up?" Lily asked, tilting her head in curiosity. "I need to go out for a bit. There's something I need to deal with," he replied, determined to maintain clarity in his voice. He scanned the room, catching Lexi's concerned look. "But I'll be back, promise." "Are you sure?" Lexi asked. "I am," he assured her. "I'll explain when I return." Before he knew it, he was already pushing through the door into the twilight. Each step carried purpose, and a thrill emerged as he made his way to the park. The shadows began to melt away as memories of the beauty of this community chased the dread that accompanied him. When he arrived, the trees swayed, and the chirping crickets formed a symphony. Standing beneath the dim light of a lamppost, he felt a sense of anticipation building. Charlie felt more solid on his feet as he waited. Minutes passed before a figure stepped out from behind a nearby tree, cloaked in mystery. The stranger held a raised hand and Charlie's heart sank. "You made it," the stranger greeted, his voice low and gruff. "Who are you?" Charlie asked, unable to cloak the tension in his voice. "My name is Evan," he replied, eyes locking onto Charlie's, searching for something within. "I know what you've been through, and I have some information that can help clear your family's name." His body tensed, wary of the man's intentions. "What do you know?" Charlie challenged, intent on protecting those he loved. Evan took a step closer, lowering his voice. "I can help stem the tide of rumors circulating about your family. There are truths buried that have the potential to either destroy or redeem you all." Charlie felt that flickering hope rekindle in his chest, fueled by the promise of answers but marred with uncertainty. "Is this worth the risk? My family deserves better than to have their lives shaken again." "The risk lies in staying silent," Evan countered, his voice steady. "If you decide to confront your past, do it together. Only then can you truly heal." The Gravity of Evan's words gripped Charlie. It wouldn't be easy, but facing the truth head-on might finally shatter the chains of the past. Could this be the key to unlocking a brighter future? Before Charlie could respond, a small group of figures approached behind Evan, a mixture of old friends and family, holding lanterns, their faces cast in shadows that danced with hope. Recognizing faces from the community, the very ones who filled his heart with warmth, he felt a wave of strength. "Looks like you didn't bring your family after all," Charlie said, gripping his phone tightly in hand and calling upon all that his father had taught him. "I hope you're ready for a journey." Together, they stood at that crossroads, shadows fading against the embrace of community. Charlie felt a renewed bond form, intertwining families, friends, and neighbors all united against the darkness that once threatened to tear them apart. As they faced the uncertainty ahead, he realized this was just the beginning. Charlie took a deep breath, drawing strength from belief, love, and the realization that in this shared journey, they would face anything together. It was time to reclaim their story. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support and help us grow, so hit that like button to feed the algorithm. Don't wait not even one more second to share this with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. Your moments matter to us.